time to get there. That comes to Kirk. It would bring. He didn't get off.
Yours used to be CC, used to love sweet tea, salt, pepper, and Spinderella. Nigga, I'm bigger Bella. Baby, I'm quicker on the draw, cause I bossed up. Someone say big was the best. I say it's a toss up. I be staying frost up.
Hey guys, how's it going? I'm making this video basically to provide a more technical explanation as to why Mayweather was so successful against Manny Pacquiao. Now obviously it goes without saying this is not the actual post-fight film study of Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao. I am working on that video, but the question is, copyright issues may prevent me releasing that video at a certain time. So we're still going to be looking at this and we're going to see how it unfolds. But I am working on that video. This is one of the reasons why I'm actually making this video, just to begin to give a quick breakdown as to why Pacquiao struggled so much with Floyd and why Floyd had it very easy and made easy work of Manny Pacquiao. Having said all that, there are a number of people who are saying that Manny Pacquiao actually won this fight. Of course, we do know that anybody who is of sane, rational mind, in other words, anybody who still has their precious gift of sanity, will know that you cannot give Manny Pacquiao any more than 4 rounds in this fight. So sometimes it comes down to who is still in possession of their sanity. Pacquiao wins at most 4 rounds. And the funny thing is, you would have to be incredibly generous. You would have to be incredibly generous to even give Manny Pacquiao 4 rounds in this fight. You would have to be someone like Santa Claus to give Manny Pacquiao 4 rounds or more in this fight. And the reason why I say that is because my understanding of Santa Claus, if I'm not mistaken, is that this is a very generous individual who every Christmas goes around and gives people free gifts and doesn't ask for anything in return. So this sounds like a very generous person to me. That is, of course, if he even exists, because you see, when you're suffering from PAC tardation or you're suffering from the incurable disease, it becomes very difficult to tell the difference between fact and fiction, reality and fantasy. And I don't know everything there is to know. But one thing I do know for a fact is you would have to be Santa Claus to give Manny Pacquiao 4 rounds in this fight. So with that said, let's get on to the video. Let's take a look at what I mean when I talk about range control and what Floyd was really doing with Pacquiao, which was causing a problem in terms of Pacquiao being able to get on the inside. Okay, so let's start by talking about how Floyd was actually able to establish range control over Manny Pacquiao. Here you see Mayweather measuring his distance using his reach. Okay, he's using that lead hand to measure his distance. Now, Floyd knew, because he had the reach advantage, that he was safe because he was outside of Pacquiao's range, as he simply uses his lead hand to measure his own distance from Manny Pacquiao. And of course, because he has the longer reach, it's obvious he's outside Pacquiao's range. Then you see how Floyd would step in to land his jab, typically moving to the left after he shoots the jab to turn Manny Pacquiao, but you notice how he bridges the distance effectively using his lead weapon. The fact of the situation is you have to use the weapon that's closest to Floyd to have any chance against Floyd, which is the jab. Then you see how Floyd would step back out of Pacquiao's range, and this was how he was able to nullify Manny Pacquiao's offense all night long. Pacquiao had no response to what Floyd was doing. And here we see Mayweather's foot speed allowing him to get in range to punch and then get back out of range to safety. As you can see here, people obviously didn't pay attention to the attributes and the skill sets of these two individuals. Floyd can get in and he can get out more effectively than Manny Pacquiao. Alright, this is an example which perfectly illustrates range control. Notice the distance between Floyd Mayweather's lead hand and Manny Pacquiao's gloves. With a longer reach, this actually means Floyd is way outside of Manny Pacquiao's range. You see the 2 lines on the screen there shows you the distance between Floyd Mayweather's lead hand while it's outstretched and Manny Pacquiao's gloves. You see Mayweather stretching out that lead hand to measure his distance, but there's still a gap, there's still a distance between himself and Manny Pacquiao. Now, when you understand Floyd has a 5-inch reach advantage over Manny Pacquiao, if you can see a distance between his lead hand and Manny Pacquiao, Floyd is so far away from Pacquiao's range. He's so safe right now, he might as well be in a different country. He's so far outside Pacquiao's range. Now, when you see Pacquiao attempt to get closer to Floyd in order to find and establish his own range, you see Floyd lead with that straight right hand. And this is the reason Manny Pacquiao is tentative, pensive, and doesn't feel like committing to himself, because of that lead right hand from Floyd Mayweather, which we said 6 years ago would be a problem. And now you see what happened to Pacquiao when he tried to get closer to Floyd. Floyd is a master of exceptional timing. How many times did it have to be said by all the other YouTube channels and of course by myself? As Pacquiao tries to get in there, Floyd times him. Quite simply, in order for Manny Pacquiao to be effective in this fight, he had to close distance and throw combinations. The problem is, in order to close the distance, Manny had to deal with 4 distinct weapons: the jab, the left hook, the straight right hand, and the uppercut. The problem is this: Manny Pacquiao, due to his lack of a good jab, is unable to utilize that jab while moving to his right, which is what the conventional southpaw would do to close the distance on Floyd, doubling up on his jab. Because Pacquiao's lack of a jab, he usually resorts to lunging at his opponent. The problem is, he's unable to lunge in versus Floyd because of that counter right hand. And therein lies the problem. He doesn't understand how to close distance effectively, utilizing basic boxing fundamentals. So he resorts to lunging in against other opponents. But after what happened with Juan Manuel Marquez, he decided against lunging with Floyd because Mayweather's right hands were keeping Pacquiao at bay. So what you effectively have is a Pacquiao who is not willing to take risks versus Floyd and therefore is unable to win the fight. When you add to the fact that Manny Pacquiao's lead foot positioning was very, very poor, his inability to beat his opponent to the step meant that Floyd could simply circle out in any direction that he chose at any time of his choosing. This is what I mean when I say Manny Pacquiao is unable to cut off the ring, which is a basic fundamental skill in boxing. Pacquiao was always allowing Floyd to beat him to the step with his lead foot and therefore allow Floyd to exit in any direction he chose. When Floyd decided to walk to the center of the ring, Floyd would just walk to the center of the ring. When he decided to go to the ropes, he would just go to the ropes. If he decided to get off the ropes, he would just get off the ropes. This was an easy fight for Floyd, and he never even had to step up his level in order to beat Manny Pacquiao. It was easy. So you see that this video outlines just some of the reasons why I have always considered this fight to be a mismatch. I have always considered this to be the highest paid, most anticipated mismatch and sparring session in boxing history. This was one of the easiest fights Floyd Mayweather has ever had in his life. What happened to him having problems with southpaws? What happened to Manny Pacquiao's incredible speed? What happens to the foot speed he's never seen? What happened to all those southpaw angles Manny Pacquiao loves to use? You see, if I was Pacquiao right now, instead of going back to the Philippines and telling lies and deluding my public, I would go to the hidden, secret underground facility where the southpaws make their angles and make all their new tactics, you know, what some people call southpaw intelligence. And I would go speak to the director of this intelligence agency because obviously the southpaw angles that they gave Manny Pacquiao were highly, highly ineffective. So maybe it's time for Manny Pacquiao to go down to this underground facility and use his left death punch on the director of the Southpaw Intelligence Agency. I mean, that's just a suggestion for Manny Pacquiao. Maybe you should use your lefty rapid fire in that underground facility because they obviously sold you something which doesn't work. You know, I just find it funny, and I'm going to have fun with this because 6 long years of, you know, nonsense and BS and garbage means that I have a right to make fun of the situation because it turned out to be a mismatch. So, you know, there's nothing anybody can say about this one. Here we have images of Floyd running away from Manny Pacquiao as Pacquiao's head is snapping backwards. And like I said previously, that means something has actually bounced off your head. That's what that means when your head is actually flying backwards. That's just what it means. Thank you for watching. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one.
Lotus blossom, don't cry. Lotus blossom, don't cry. Without any sun. Lotus blossom, don't cry. Without any sun. Lotus blossom.
Even when under pressure, I can hit the fade away. I can lift your fade with the waves away. Nigga pay to play, and I'm pimping in the major way. Drink the Hennessy when I'm stressed out. Dear Lord, rip your beard off. Cherry Danish in the bed cloth.